Hello, John Holahan with SimplyThick here, and today we're going to make a Thanksgiving tradition. We are going to make a stuffing recipe using our pureed bread recipe and just common ingredients that we often include with it. So I'm really excited to see how we've taken that recipe and we've modified it so that it's good for Thanksgiving dinner. So to make this recipe, we are just going to use 4 slices of whole wheat bread. We're going to use just a little bit of sage, onion powder, thyme, and celery salt, as well as a little bit of salt and pepper, 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of butter, 3 ounces of vegetable stock, and of course 3 strokes of SimplyThick EasyMix. And we're going to process all of this in the food processor. To make the pureed stuffing, we're going to use 4 pieces of whole wheat bread. And I just break those up into little pieces as I put them together, put them in there. That way they're sure to be cut up by the blade. And then the first thing we're going to do, put the lid on. We're going to process this down to like a breadcrumb. That's just about 15 seconds. And then to make this work, we are going to add 1/8 teaspoon of sage, 1/8 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/8 teaspoon of thyme, 1/8 teaspoon of celery salt, just a little bit of salt, and just a little bit of pepper. I don't really need that much more in my stuffing. We're going to add 1 egg. We are going to add 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 3 ounces of vegetable stock, and then we're going to add 3 pump strokes of SimplyThick EasyMix. So that's 18 grams. You can get that with 3 nectar packets or 1.5 of our moderately thick packets as well. Put the lid on, and we're just going to mix this for about another 15 or 20 seconds. All right, so now we have this wonderful batter that we are going to put into one of our SimplyThick food forms. And first we spray that with a little bit of spray. So put a little bit of spray in there. Okay, so now that these are all put out in the food forms, we're going to put them in the oven, where you can do that at 350 for 8 to 11 minutes. Or I like to use a steamer for about 10 to 12 minutes. That helps keep it moist and stops any crust from baking on. And we will bake it all together, and it will still crumble and fall apart very nicely. So we will be back with that. And as you can see, one of the advantages of using a steamer is that it doesn't overcook, it doesn't dry things out, everything's nice and moist. So you can see that the bread has puffed up very nicely. Hopefully I won't burn myself too much taking these out and dumping them, because it is a little bit hot. All right, so we have it in the bread form, and you'll see when we dump it out, it holds its shape. It looks like a nice piece of bread, and I guess we're getting a nice little reflection out there. Let's tip it up a little. All right, it's not going to look any better. What you'll see, because you know that in IDDSI, bread is not normally allowed, but IDDSI is a descriptive test standard. So you can see that it cuts very easily. It mushes with the fork. And as per IDDSI, it's not very sticky. Mounds up, it's not sticky. And the test that I always use, and I should mention, this stuff smells great. Wow, I'm just salivating here. The test we always look at when it came to bread, that I always said to people, the reason bread is not part of IDDSI is that if you put it in your mouth and you just use your tongue, no teeth, you find that a regular piece of bread just sticks or balls up and becomes gummy. But this, because it's been broken apart, just kind of softly baked together, it falls apart really easily in your mouth. And I have no problem eating that with just my tongue. It just falls apart in my mouth. It's very soft. It's very delicate. And wow, it tastes just like stuffing. It's a fantastic addition. So I really recommend that you try this out. Thanks a lot for being with us tonight.